This is the story of a love triangle fueled not by food, but by the absence of it. For most people, hunger is something to be satiated, a physical sensation you quell with a bite, a sip, a simple meal. But for Dr. Evelyn Chase, hunger was an experiment. It wasn't a discomfort to be resolved. It was a hypothesis to be tested, a potential gateway into human potential itself. Dr. Chase was a fasting researcher, but not in the narrow sense. She wasn't interested in weight loss. She wasn't chasing trends. Her research was philosophical, existential even. She believed that the absence of sustenance revealed hidden faculties of the human mind and body. She argued that if calibrated precisely, the body's reaction to fasting could unlock cognitive clarity, emotional resilience, and even transformative states of being. Her theories attracted curiosity and controversy, but they also attracted followers. Among the most devoted were two young researchers whose names would soon dominate every conversation connected to her work: Noah Trent and Ava Sinclair. Noah was precise, methodical, almost clinical. He saw the world in charts and percentages. Every case study had to be quantified, every conclusion backed by statistics. He was relentless in applying rigorous analytical frameworks to Dr. Chase's fasting protocols. For him, fasting was a science, and like all sciences, it demanded order. Ava was different. Her voice carried a magnetic conviction. She spoke about fasting not just as a science, but as a philosophy, a way to reshape human identity. Where Noah saw numbers, Ava saw narrative. Where Noah saw variables, Ava saw meaning. Their partnership was unlikely but powerful, a blend of empirical rigor and passionate advocacy. Together, they were poised to revolutionize the field. But slowly, and then all at once, everything began to shift. It started with the data. Researchers began noticing inconsistencies. Results that had once pointed in unmistakable directions suddenly bent upon themselves. Experiments that had shown promising, reproducible outcomes were rewritten in backdated spreadsheets, citations altered, conclusions retrofitted. No one could explain it at first. "It must be human error," someone said. But errors repeated themselves, patterns emerged. And when the Institute's internal audit flagged discrepancies in archived records, the whispers turned into concern. This wasn't sloppy science. This looked like manipulation. And then, Ava disappeared. Not a missed appointment, not a voicemail left unread. She simply vanished. The last known communication from her was a cryptic sign-off late at night, a timestamp that would later become a pivotal piece of evidence. Detectives were called. The investigation began as a missing person case, but what they unearthed was anything but ordinary. In Ava's digital footprint, they found encrypted messages, thousands of lines of communication between her and Noah, meticulously scrambled, hidden behind layers of cryptographic masking. It was clear from the outset that these writings were not casual. They were coded because the message mattered, and because the senders knew it would be damning if exposed. Decryption revealed something unexpected. Noah and Ava were not rivals. They were more than colleagues. They were secret lovers. But not in the way anyone expected. Their relationship was entwined with a shared mission: to expose what they believed was a corruption deep within the fasting research community. The records they had begun to question weren't just flawed, they were being manipulated. Someone or some group of people was adjusting outcomes to favor results that fit a more convenient narrative. Success rates were inflated, adverse effects were downplayed, independent critique was discouraged, and the pattern suggested this had been going on for years, affecting publications, speaker invitations, funding decisions, and academic credibility. Noah and Ava had stumbled upon an unsettling truth. Their entire field might be built on controlled narratives, not impartial science. In their encrypted exchanges, they planned to gather evidence, expose the illicit activities, and bring them into the light. They were determined to publish it all in one comprehensive leak, supported by airtight data and testimony. But someone discovered their plan, and that someone was prepared to stop them. Detectives pieced together a timeline leading up to Ava's last known movements. She attended the Institute's late-night seminar, followed by a private meeting with Noah at a location outside official premises. After that, the trail went cold. There were reports of security footage being interrupted, keycard access logs inexplicably deleted, John Doe files that turned out to be backdated. No one was talking, or at least no one was talking openly. Meanwhile, in an overlooked corner of Ava's encrypted archive, investigators found a single audio file, brief, unassuming, suffused with apprehension. Ava's voice, recorded in hushed tones. "If you're hearing this, I'm in danger. They know what we found. It's bigger than we thought. Don't trust numbers you didn't verify yourself." It was short, barely over a minute, but its implication was seismic. This was not just a disappearance. This was intimidation, and the threat was systemic. The investigation pivoted. What began as a missing person case now intersected with suspected corporate and academic malfeasance. The question shifted. Was Ava's disappearance a consequence of her own investigation, or was it a warning to anyone who dared question the established order? Detective Marina Reyes, the lead on the case, noted something unsettling in the Institute's digital logs. There were alterations to fundamental datasets, completely unexplained. Someone was systematically adjusting key experimental outcomes. It wasn't sloppy, it was deliberate. And the deeper she dug, the more disturbing the picture became. Colleagues testified in fragments. One remembered seeing Ava argue fiercely about unpublished anomalies. Another reported Noah staying hours after official hours, poring over spreadsheets no one else could access. Pieces of a puzzle began to coalesce. There was motive, there was access, there was opportunity. Suspicions turned toward influential figures behind the research, those who had the most to lose if the truth came out. Funding sources, reputation investors, institutional gatekeepers, names once spoken with admiration now emerged as possible antagonists, but nothing was confirmed until the second disappearance. Just as the investigation gained momentum, Noah ceased contact altogether. Not a trace, not a last message, no explanation, no goodbye. Detectives were now chasing two disappearances tied to the same controversial investigation, and that forced an uncomfortable question. Had these two brave researchers been silenced? Then came the breakthrough. Authorities staged a strategic dissemination of partial evidence, essentially an information bait, announcing that key documents would become public unless they were properly handled. Within hours, encrypted channels lit up with panic, leaks, and frantic attempts to suppress communication. One such access point revealed a login originating not from outside the Institute, but from within it, from an internal terminal, from someone with high-level clearance. A name surfaced, a person no one wanted to suspect. Someone admired, whose reputation was spotless in public view. Someone whose publications and keynote addresses had shaped an entire generation of fasting research. Confronted with the emerging evidence, what unfolded next was a cascade of admissions. Not outright confessions? Not yet, but enough cooperations, partial testimonies, indirect corroborations, and digital trails to confirm that data manipulation, selective reporting, and outcome distortion had occurred. The motive varied: prestige, funding incentives, academic rivalry, and a pervasive fear that any deviation from the established narrative would collapse careers. Some defended their actions as protecting the field, others acknowledged ethical lapses without remorse. But one question resonated above all: what happened to Ava and Noah? Despite the partial unraveling of the corruption, neither had been found. No trace, no confirmed sighting, not a whisper from either of them. Months passed. The investigation continued, fracturing the once hallowed halls of Dr. Chase's institute. Peer review boards, grant foundations, and academic panels were forced into unprecedented reviews. Transparency protocols were instituted. Independent audits became standard practice across similar research bodies. What Noah and Ava had risked their careers to reveal was now a catalyst for change. Their actions, their courage had led to reforms that might have been unthinkable otherwise, but nothing explained their absence. No confirmations, no remains, no messages, just questions, and a legacy of disruption. At its heart, Calories of Deception was never just about a scientific dispute. It was about ambition, power, loyalty, and the perilous cost of truth. It was about two young researchers who believed the world deserved to know the whole story, not just the story someone profitable wanted to sell. Some say those who chase truth sometimes become casualties of the very system they strive to reform. Others believe Ava and Noah vanished by choice, into anonymity, watching from afar as their revelations unfolded. Whatever the reality, their absence remains a mystery. What's certain is this: when truth threatens power, hunger becomes a weapon. And in the world of controlled narratives, even the most dedicated seekers of knowledge can find themselves devoured by the very forces they aimed to expose.